There we go. We're recording. All right, there's Jerry. Hey, Jerry, how you doing? So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to mute everyone, and then you have to unmute yourself to talk, just so we don't have any background noise. Let me make sure that no one's hanging out there in the waiting room. Yeah, one person. Okay, very cool. So thank you all for coming. I think we're real excited about our topic tonight because it's something that is facing us all, and we may have varying degrees of success with dealing with the holidays over our journey. So what I would love is if you would put in the chat where you are calling from or where you live, and then also how many years on Optavia have you been through the holiday season? Like this could be your first year or your fifth year or your 10th year. I'm just curious kind of what all of our experience has been so far. So if you could put that in the chat, that would be awesome. From Vestal, New York, first year, 6 years, 12 years. Doc Larry, you win so far. 2 years, 7 years. I think I'm 9. This is my 9th year. Wow, 4 months. Okay, very cool. So, so the three of us that are going to be presenting this evening are myself. I'm Debbie Baumel, and I'm a certified health coach. And then Tina Kuchera is also a certified health coach, and Elaine Rosenrock, also a certified health coach. So, yeah, so I'm going to share my screen and we will get started. So what we're going to try to do is if you have questions, you can put them in the chat, and we'll try to take some of them during the presentation. We don't want it to go too long, but then we'll take some questions afterwards also. But we don't want to keep people too long, so but I'm happy to hang out and answer questions, as many questions as people have. So let me share my screen. Hi, Joy. All right. So if Elaine or Tina can man the chat for me, that would be awesome. And let me just adjust something here. Okay. So we're here to talk about the holidays. And I love the name of it, actually, Thriving Through the Holidays, because I think a lot of us are not sure that that is even possible. So, see, I got to advance the slides this way. So as much as we might be excited about the holidays, we're also maybe have, you know, a small amount of trepidation or a lot of trepidation about the holidays. So, especially if we're just started on our program, or even if we've been, you know, on our health journey for a while and we lost a lot of weight, or we're just getting started and we don't want to gain the weight back. So then there's that, oh no, it's the holidays. What am I going to do? Let me see if there's more people here that want to come in. No, I think we're good. So, sometimes people even say, oh, I'll just wait till after the holidays. Like, have you ever said that? I know I used to say that, like year after year after year, I would say, oh, I'll just wait till after the holidays, and like everyone else, make a New Year's resolution, you know, on January 2nd. So I guess tonight what we really want to do is offer some alternatives and different ways of thinking about the holidays. So really ask yourself, what is my plan for the holidays, and what do I want my ideal outcome to be? So let's find out about your why. Where do you want to be when you wake up on January 2nd of 2019? How do you want to feel physically and emotionally? And really think about why that's important to you. You've probably heard we all talk about that finding your why is so important, or start with why. So I think that is the thing that can really ground us and motivate us in creating our goals, creating an action plan. But think about why is that important to you, and when was the last time you had that? And how will it impact not just you, but your family and your friends as well? So to really paint a picture of what that's going to look like, not just that you can see it visually with your eyes, but also something that touches you emotionally, something that you can really feel with your heart too. But what are you willing to do to get there? I think that's a really interesting question, and really a fantastic way that we can completely reframe the entire holiday experience and actually thrive through the holidays. And when I learned about this new way of thinking about this time of year, it was like life-changing for me. So Tina is going to go through some of our amazing options. Can you unmute yourself, Tina?
I just realized that. So yes, thank you, Debbie, for asking me to speak tonight. And one of the great things about Optavia is that we do have different options. It's not necessarily just a one size fits all. So we're going to go through a couple different options, or a few different options tonight to thrive through the holidays. So the first option would be just to continue with the 5-in-1. So if we're currently on the 5-in-1, we've got all this momentum, we're doing really great on the plan, we might want to just stick with the option 1 and continue to see that great weight loss that we've been having. You're going to continue to feel great and have the energy and to do the shopping or visiting with friends and family. And one of the great benefits about this is you're going to continue to feel better. You go there as far as when you're losing the weight, when you show up to your holiday events, you're still going to have all that confidence and feeling good about how you're looking. And of course, being in the fat burn, you're going to have little or no hunger. So this is a very doable option, even though it may not seem like that now. Hopefully by the time we get off the call with some strategies, you'll see that it's pretty doable. So then the next option is option 2. So this is more of a compromise. So when you're looking to that January 2nd date, if you are looking and you're okay to kind of modify your weight loss where you're not seeing as much weight loss, this might be an option that you're looking at. Basically, you're still staying on the 5-in-1 program for most of the time, except for some of those holiday meals. So you're still going to be using a lot of your fuelings. There's still going to be a lot of structure. But for those holiday meals specifically, then you might be eating off the 5-in-1 plan, eating things that wouldn't be considered compliant, and that is going to kick you out of fat burn. So that's something you have to consider. It's going to take 2 to 4 days to get you back into that fat burning mode after that holiday meal. And of course, as we all know, when we're getting back into fat burning, we have lower energy, there's more hunger, and your weight loss is going to slow down for that. So we all have to ask ourselves if it's worth it. And the one thing I like to point out about those holiday meals, though, we're still working with structure. And so in the bottom right-hand corner, we see the plate, the 9-inch plate, and that's what Dr. Anderson talks about in his Habits of Health book in chapter 9. So if you haven't got to that part in the book yet, the half of the plate should be vegetables. It's showing 1/4 of the plate is protein, and then the last 1/4 of the plate would be your grains or your starches. So even through the holidays, through these holiday meals, since we're learning lifetime changes, right? We're not going to make our whole plate just the potatoes and the stuffing and the bread. We're still trying to follow the structure so that we're learning and doing things differently. So that would be option 2. And then there's a third option, and this would be as if we're looking at to January 2nd and we're saying, you know what, I would consider it a win if I'm exactly where I am now as far as my weight. I don't gain weight, I don't lose weight, but I'm in the same place. And, the average American gains 5 or 7 pounds in the holiday season, so maybe maintaining is where you'd like to go. But you are still going to be watching those portion sizes and still eating 6 times a day. So there's still a structure to this process. And obviously you're not going to be in the fat burning. So you may find that you could be triggered a little more easily if you're having some of those sugar foods. So that's something to kind of keep in mind too. But it is an option if that's something that you're wanting to try. All right, and from here we get to decide. This is the great thing. We get to decide what's important to us, and what we would really encourage you is just to be intentional about what you want. So make a decision, and then we can write a plan on it, and Debbie's going to talk about that here in a little bit. And then as far as, you know, once we make that decision, the one thing to remember is between now and January 1st is 48 days. And if we're eating 6 times a day, like we do with Optavia, it's 282 meal choices. That is a lot of opportunities to do the right thing. So even if we are choosing to not do every single meal, I think on the next screen it shows like some of the holidays. Debbie, if you want to switch there. I mean, you want to start looking at which meals are really important to you that maybe you don't want to stay on the 5-in-1. And you may decide that you do want to stay on the 5-in-1. That's something you have to figure out. But even if you're deciding to go off a little bit certain days, I mean, we're talking 5, 7, maybe 10 meals out of 282. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunity to make good choices. It doesn't have to be a free-for-all for the next 48 days by any means. So, and then just to wrap up, you know, again, you don't have to use the holidays as an excuse. There is actually a holiday every month of the year. So one way or the other, right? There's always going to be a holiday. And it would be exciting to get up, to wake up on January 2nd and feel really empowered and really excited about where you are physically and mentally and emotionally. So that's what I got, Debbie.
Great. Thank you so much. That's awesome. So let me see if I can figure out how to do this all. So this part here is really, really interesting. This is called, see if I can get myself on the screen. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. This is called a structural tension chart. And this is an awesome tool that can be used in a lot of different ways. And in this instance, it's been formatted so we can actually use it to create an action plan for ourselves. So I think I skipped ahead too many. Yeah, let me see here. So where we want to start with the structural tension chart is we actually want to start at the top. And we really want to focus on what is our desired outcome and what plan are we choosing. So think about what you want to achieve. An example might be that I want to stay true to the 5-in-1 program so that I can lose an additional 15 pounds by January 1st, which is very, very doable with the 5-in-1. So make sure that your goal is measurable. So I'm going to circle that I'm choosing the 5-in-1. I'm going to talk about what how I'm feeling, what my energy level is, and also a weight goal if I have that. So so that's what would go at the top. And then what goes at the bottom is your current reality. So in this case, a realistic view of where you are right now. So an example is I've already lost 15 pounds. I'm feeling great, but I think I'm going to have a really hard time through the holidays without gaining weight. Like I've never done that before, and I'm kind of concerned about it. And then we get to create the action steps. The action steps are the secondary choices that are going to lead you from where you are now to the goal. And that's what they talk about when they talk about tension. They don't mean anxiety or worry, although there might be some of that exists as well. What they mean is there's some tension between where you are now and where you would like to be, because you're not where you would like to be yet. And so that's where you get to think about, well, what will it take to get me to that goal? And so the example in this situation would be that I'm committing to be on the 5-in-1 plan every day. I also think it's really going to help me to drink all my water, at least 50% of my body weight in ounces of water daily. I'm going to really focus on getting 7 to 8 hours of recuperative sleep. And I'm going to carry bars with me at all times in case I'm delayed, like if I'm holiday shopping or there's a lot of traffic and I don't want to have an excuse to eat off my plan. So I'm going to go out prepared. So the next thing really goes back to Dr. Anderson's wonderful ebook called Stop, Challenge, Choose. So we challenge you to think before you eat and ask yourself, why are you eating? And the ebook from Dr. Anderson is excellent. And if you haven't read it or haven't read it in a while and you're not sure where to find it, ask your coach. They'll be happy to send it to you. It's a PDF. It's about 100 pages. I wouldn't say you would want to print it out, but it can easily be read online. And so this gives us great guidelines of learning how to stop and to challenge ourselves and to make a better choice that's more in line with the goals that we, put down in our action plan. So, here's are some of the questions that you can ask yourself to determine if the choice that you're making is a rational decision. Is eating this in my long-term best interest? If I eat this now, how am I going to feel in an hour from now? Or how am I going to feel tomorrow? How will I feel a year from now if I continue to make decisions about this? And the interesting thing about these questions is it engages both our rational brain and our emotional brain, because it isn't just about your actions, but how do you feel about your actions? So Elaine is going to take it from here and talk about some amazing tips and strategies. You can unmute yourself, Elaine.
That makes it better, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the first thing, it's okay to say no. I think that everybody needs to stand in front of the mirror and practice that, because it really is a skill. Because a lot of us just haven't learned how to do that. We're busy, busy, busy. Yes, yes, yes. And that leads right into being selective. There are a lot of events, parties, gatherings, lunches, dinners, and you really don't have to go to everything. Pick and choose. Take care of yourself. Going to party after party, no matter how structured you might be, it's going to be difficult to stay on track. So you need to be mindful of getting enough rest, drinking your water, getting your sleep, getting your exercises, so that you don't set yourself up for making poor choices. Next. So a lot of families have traditions that circle around food. It's a nice idea for everybody to say, let's try something else this year. Maybe make paper decorations, or make something to donate to a homeless shelter. That's, it's okay to change up family traditions. It's really about being with family. That's what the holidays are about. So don't lose focus of that. Some of the tips that people have found helpful in curbing some of your appetite is to brush your teeth with minty toothpaste before you go. Other people talk about doing homeopathic oils, peppermint, or I heard someone say Vicks Vapor Rub under your nose will help to eliminate some of the cravings. The action plan that you drew up before, take a picture of that and put it on your phone so that you could refer to it at different times when you might be having a moment of weakness. Remind yourself what you're doing and why you're doing this.
Great.
Next. This is important. Before you go, you want to approach everything in the best mindset that you can. So that written action plan, have it on your camera. Plan what you're going to do when a challenge comes. Aunt Mary's going to come over and say, okay, have this pumpkin. And think of what you're going to say to her. Oh, thank you. I'll have a little bit later. Or, oh, come on. Are you still on that program? Think about what you could say in response. Be proud of what you're doing. Be an example. Very important to not go hungry. Plan your fueling. Stay on program during the days. Try to, time it so that you have a fueling before you go to your event, so it'll be easier. Next. Another thing, focus on your friends and family. Enjoy yourself. Cherish all of the moments. Some practical things that you can do is to hold your, have a water bottle with you at all times when you're at a party, and keep it in the hand that you normally eat with. That will help you to focus on things other than feeding yourself. And come to the parties with fun recipes ideas. I love the turkey on the bottom. I mean, bring healthy choices with you. If somebody says what to bring, I know I'm going to do the green bean casserole and cauliflower potatoes this year. So think of things that you could bring. Make it fun. Teach people how you can still have a great time, eat great food, and it could be healthy, and be setting good examples for everybody that's all around you. Next slide. This is a great one. Position yourself away from the food. I recently had an experience at book club where it was really challenging. I sat right by the nuts, and it just kept speaking to me. So picked myself up and moved away. So when you go to an event, position yourself away from the food. I talked about holding the water bottle in your dominant hand. Use the smallest plate possible. We all are aware of how our culture has become supersized. So don't be a product of that. Use a small plate. Eat slowly. Chew slowly. Savor the tastes. If you're choosing plan B and maybe you're going to have a taste of somebody's delicious whatever, if you're going to have your 2 bites, do it really slowly and appreciate it, because I'm sure some of you are aware when you're eating fast, we don't even taste what we're eating. It's just getting it in. So if you're mindful and chew slowly, it makes it a much more meaningful experience. Make some lean and green recipes and share your healthy meals with your friend. Along those lines, if somebody says, bring cookies, we're having a cookie exchange. If you don't like coconut cookies, bring coconut cookies. Bring something. If you're feeling the pressure to participate in a cookie bake or cookie something, just bring something that you don't like. Cleaning up and leftovers. I know for myself, I'm not a really good cleaner-upper because I'll snack. And if there's this much less, it's like, oh, it's only this much. So it's just not a good thing to do. So there's plenty of other things to do other than stack your dishes, clean the plates. Let somebody else deal with the leftovers. And if you're hosting and you have a lot of leftovers, don't leave them around necessarily. If you don't have people that's going to help you eat them, freeze them, save them for the next holiday. And another thing that you could do with what's left over is create your own lean and green meals for the leftovers and freeze them for busy days, because after Thanksgiving, there's a lot of busy days, and then there's Christmas and New Year's, and there's always busy days. So failing to plan is planning to fail. So this is a really good way to get prepared for the busy time that's coming up ahead.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. So just to kind of summarize, the tips to stay focused for the holidays is to focus on family and friends and not the food, to plan ahead, don't go hungry, to really take control of our own program and our own health during these times, especially. Choose smaller plates, avoid family style dining. And I think that goes along with helping yourself to seconds and having all that food sitting out in front of you where we have a tendency to pick. That's another reason why I like buffet style. I can, put what I want on my plate, go sit down, and then the food isn't all sitting on the table in front of me. Move before munching, is talking about moving away from the food before it is too tempting to resist. Making your cocktails into mocktails can be a really fun thing. There's all kinds of ways to use flavored seltzer and some of our new purposeful hydration. And I've even gone so far as to put those little paper umbrellas in the drinks to make them look more festive and fun. And then go read some stories of before and after pictures on Facebook to get inspired. This little picture in the corner is our dining out guide, which is an awesome tool, an awesome reference. And not only does it have information about going out to eat, it also has information about going to other people's houses to eat, and how to deal with celebrations, and how to deal with alcohol and all kinds of things. So if you don't have the actual little booklet, you can, if your order's coming up soon, you can throw one in your cart. But it's also available as a PDF. So if you don't know where to find it, ask your coach. They can send it to you, and you can refer to it online, put it in Google Drive, and it could be right there on your phone. This is a great resource. So again, you know, the focus should be on family and friends. And for Thanksgiving, especially coming up in the next, you know, few days, I guess it's a week. Wow, I better get busy. You know, it's about gratitude. It's about family and friends, being grateful for the good things in our life. And it's not all about the food, although sometimes we may have come to believe it's about the food. And in some cases, we may be sitting down to dinner or having events with people who feel that it's all about the food, but we don't have to absorb that that frame of reference or that perspective. We can make it about other things and have a wider perspective. Another great thing that I know a lot of families do is they actually make it a point to get active on the holidays with a turkey trot or a run or a family football game. There's so many different ways that we can take the focus off the food and put the focus more on the enjoyment of being together in a healthy way, rather than having Thanksgiving or any of our holidays be all about just stuffing ourselves till we feel sick. You know, that was what I thought of as the holidays for so long. But this way of thinking about the next 6 weeks or so has completely reframed the whole experience for me. So I feel very fortunate that I've been introduced to this way of thinking. So make sure to connect with the community of support, which is, you know, like our Facebook group, or definitely stay in touch with your health coach. That's one of the best ways to stay connected. And a lot of times, the thing that is the most difficult, the thing that answers the question or addresses the issues we're having, it's more support. Leaning into all the amazing support that we have. Our community of support includes our doctor and nurse calls on Wednesday nights and our amazing webinars they're all recorded. If we can't watch them in the moment, we can always listen back to them. You could go on the YouTube channel for Optavia right now. I think there's 133 Habits of Health webinar recordings there that you could listen to for a long time. But the support and the connection with others is so important. So a lot of times those of us with weight issues tend to isolate ourselves, and the support we get from community is really, really important. So practice gratitude. I think that's what the holiday Thanksgiving is all about, but I think it's woven through a lot of the other winter holidays that come up for us at this time. And I really want to open it up for questions now. So I'm going to stop share and invite you to unmute yourself and ask a question, or if you feel more comfortable putting it in the chat, that's fine too. Does anybody have a question, a situation that they're facing that they're not sure how to handle or what they're going to do with, that you need some help with?
I have a question.
Yeah.
We are actually hosting this year, and half of our friends and family attending, well, most of our friends and family attending are not doing the 5-in-1 or maintenance. I and another friend of mine will be doing the 5-in-1. So, you know, I noticed the recipe for like green bean casserole, and so what are some other tips, I guess I would ask, that you would advise for someone that's hosting that wants to please everybody? Because I mean, not everybody's going to want to do that, which that's okay. You know, you have people attending that are, you know, little kids. They're going to want the pies and everything, and You know, certain adults, they're going to want all the yummy stuff too. So do you just make separate, or I thought, do I make them particular sides that will be perfect for me and my friend, or?
I think you're asking some great questions. I'm curious. I could answer you, but I'm curious if other people who have been in a similar situation, what you have done in the past, or if what you're planning to do. Dr. Larry.
Well, first of all, no one says that you have to have tons of things that are going to derail you or move you in the wrong direction. So, keep that in mind. The biggest thing that we can be is an example for the people around us. As a result of me making different choices 11 and a half years ago, my daughters eat healthier, and for the holidays, we have always gotten together with a family across the street, and we've had a joint Thanksgiving dinner between two families. And we used to bring the broccoli casserole that had enough cheese to sludge the arteries of like the 5th Infantry. And that was the kind of thing that we brought with us every time, and the kids loved it. Well, when I went on plan, we came up with a recipe for something called green beans gremolata, which has some lemon zest and some parsley and some garlic, and the green beans are sauteed in some olive oil, and there's just a sprinkle of a little bit of Parmesan cheese on it. So it really is a healthy option. And what we found was that now when we get together with them for either Christmas or Thanksgiving, the kids that we assumed wouldn't like this healthy dish now say, "You are going to bring the green beans, aren't you?" So, don't hesitate to make sure you have a healthy dish there. It becomes infectious. Healthy dishes can be incredibly tasty, and, they may just rub off on other people. And then when it comes to, the kinds of foods that will naturally derail you, if I have to bring a cake to something because somebody asked me to bring a cake, I bring a cake that I don't like. Okay? So if I'm the host, I would make a cake that is something that I don't really care for, or I would get one that I don't really care for. So the likelihood that it's going to derail me and the other people on 5-1 are going to be less, especially for me because I don't like it. So you still can make good choices, but I would not hesitate to, bring something healthy or have something healthy. And, if there's things that the other people want that are unhealthy, that's okay, but you don't have to eat it. And I always have a healthy option at every outing we go to. And I always take one with me if I'm going to a place and I'm not sure if they're going to have one. I always say, "Hey, I'd love to bring a side dish. Would that be okay?" Because I know they're always going to have turkey, or I know they're always going to have ham, or they're all going to have something. So I know if I bring my green beans dish, I'll always have my lean and green meal available.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So Diane put in the chat, stay committed and decide to stay healthy. Lean on your friend and ask her to do the same. You're in this together. I like that, Diane. That's pretty cool. Very cool. And Elaine says, delegate to family members. So have them do the things that you don't want to do, or bring the food that you don't want to fix. Yeah, that's a great idea. I have a trick for if I'm going to someone's house and they haven't asked me to bring something, but I'm kind of worried whether or not they'll be healthy choices. I will go to one of the local grocery stores and buy a small veggie tray, and I don't get a giant one, and I don't make it myself because I don't want my host or hostess to think I went to a whole lot of trouble. But I will, at the holiday time, I'll even take a little sticky bow and stick it right on top of there. And that's my hostess gift that I give. And because I gave it, they'll serve it. I figure they're probably going to have some meat that I can eat there. And if they don't have any other vegetables and they haven't asked me to bring anything, at least I'll have the vegetables in the veggie tray. So that's my way of sort of ensuring that I'm going to at least get something to eat, even when I haven't been asked to bring something.
Yeah, the hostess gift is a great idea, Deb. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, does anyone else have an idea or a way to answer Joy's question or another question? No? Okay, well, cool. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I'm happy to stay on and answer questions if anybody has any. I'm excited for having a healthy holiday. I've had actually had some drama with my lovely in-laws over this in the last 24 hours. So I will let you know how things work out and how it all goes. I'm hoping it'll go really well, but yeah. Even me who's been doing this for 9 years, I still have a few challenges, a few hurdles here and there, but I'm committed to having a healthy holiday. I'm committed to feeling good when I drive home from Cleveland on Sunday. Next Sunday, we're going there for Thanksgiving, and that is my definite commitment, and I'm not going to let anything get in the way because I've had too many years when I've been so mad, and I'm just not doing that to myself anymore because no food is worth it for me anymore.
Well, Deb, I want to thank you first of all for hosting this, but I also want to, reinforce one of the slides talked about making a decision. How do you want to go into 2019? And I think that's the piece that we have to revisit. We can go into 2019 with this concept of doing what everyone else is doing, which is New Year's resolutions that obviously don't work and fail. Or we can go into 2019 exactly where we are now, worse than where we are now, or significantly better than we are now. And it all comes down to our decision that we're going to make over the next couple of days. So yep. I'm excited. Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. Anyone else have any questions they just thought of?
I don't have a question, but I just have a comment. I think that the holidays just stirs up so much in all of us. And I think we have to be extra vigilant and recognize that there's going to be all sorts of stuff coming, politics discussions, memories discussions. So you just have to kind of give yourself permission to feel what's going on, but really stepping back from the situation, recognizing that whatever you're feeling, it's going to pass. It's just one more meal. Just be vigilant and take care of yourself. Get a massage, take a walk, get extra sleep, listen to music, whatever fills your cup. Think about doing that because you got to be forearmed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm excited for all of you. What I'm going to do is I have a resource list that I'm going to put together with live links to some of the things that we've talked about, including that action plan list and places where you can get great recipes and the dining out guide and some of the other resources that we talked about. And I'm going to put that document, a PDF with the links in the file section of our Health Journey group so that you can just access it from there. Thank you all so much for coming. This is how I lean into my community to come and get, help and nourishment from everyone else. Thank you to Tina and Elaine for helping me and for everyone else who attended and participated. I really appreciate us being able to get together like this. So if I don't talk to you before, have an amazing Thanksgiving and let's support each other. Talk to you soon.